How good is Dricus Du Plessis?
Dricus Du Plessis!
Some believe it's an undeniable skill set, while others boil it down to pure luck. Dricus Du Plessis is closing in on a shot at the UFC middleweight title wrapped around Easy's waist rather quickly. With only one more challenge left for Still Knox to get to the gold, that #1 contender position could be his very soon. His next opponent might just be his toughest till date, and this has seen a rise in the question in a lot of fight fans' mind. How good is Dricus Du Plessis? Hey fight fans, it's Toby with the African Fighters, and today we're here to dissect just how good Dricus Du Plessis is. Currently ranked at number 5 in the UFC's middleweight division, Dricus Du Plessis has had quite the journey getting to where he is now. Dricus Du Plessis started training judo at the tender age of 5 before switching over to kickboxing at the age of 14. Soon enough, he found himself in the world of MMA, and the world soon got to find out about Dricus Du Plessis. Du Plessis made his pro debut in late July of 2013, and over the course of the last 10 years, he has had 21 bouts during his time in the EFC. He held both the middleweight and the welterweight gold, even having the double champ status at a point. Still Knox then got to have international exposure at KSW against tenured names, and during his time there, he had a brief run as the welterweight champion, and soon enough, he found himself competing in the UFC's octagon. Dricus' UFC career started off with 2 thunderous finishes before his championship campaign started. In his climb up the rankings, he faced some of the major names including Brad Tavares, Darren Till, and most recently Derek Brunson. He won all these fights, but his performances in those have come under some scrutiny, with some believing the South African is just barely getting by, with the former UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker being the next opponent for Dricus Du Plessis. Fight fans cannot help but wonder whether this might be the one to topple Still Knox. So, is Dricus Du Plessis good or not? Dricus Du Plessis has a 19-win and 2-loss record across the 3 promotions he has fought in. It has only happened once that Du Plessis' fight went to the judges' scorecard for a decision, and that was in his bout against Brad Tavares, which saw Dricus launch right into the top 15. Submission victories are a recurring theme for Dricus Du Plessis, with 10 of his wins coming by some form of tap-out. The remaining 8 victories have been by way of knockout or technical knockouts. As for his 2 losses, one has been by TKO and the other by submission. Both of those losses came in the latter rounds, with the finishes happening well into the fight. This begs the question of whether Dricus Du Plessis is susceptible to taking punishment in the later round, whether his gas tank might be problematic. The gas tank issue is one that has plagued a majority of Dricus' tenure in the UFC and has drawn a lot of critique for Still Knox. Earlier this year, Dricus Du Plessis underwent surgery to correct an oxygen intake issue. Dricus' coach Monroe Visser explained this to be the reason for his highly criticized gassed tank. Now that this issue has been corrected, it will be interesting to see how this affects his next performance, especially if it benefits him, as this could produce the best version of Still Knox that the UFC has ever seen. Robert Whittaker has made it clear that he is not undermining Dricus Du Plessis ahead of their bout. Whittaker understands that Du Plessis is a well-rounded fighter who likes to get the finish. That ability to finish his opponent is what has led to the position he is now. So the question of how good Dricus Du Plessis is, the answer is really dependent on one's own assessment of Still Knox and all that he has accomplished. It's really a subjective topic with an equally subjective answer. One thing that is for sure is that no test will be greater for the South African than the one against Robert Whittaker at UFC 290 on July the 9th. Maybe with that performance, a unified answer could be decided. Alright, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section. A big shout out to Chinyere Okafor for this article. See you in another video.